You'd better read this. Sister Agnes found it by the North Wall Gate. It seems young Vitch, whom we took in and cared for, was spying on the Abbey, assisting the fox.
Cut your napping there, mateys! You've all gone soft playing at being landlubbers. Anyone home to receive a poor old sea dog who's down on his luck?
Why did I decide to audition? Well, I didn't decide to audition. The producers decide to take me in. I'm an available performer. At that time, I was sort of available as well, of course. And I came in and worked with the voice director, Ray Jaffelis. First year, as you know, on Redwall, I was, I believe, Alf. I was Abbot Mordalfus, I believe. Second season, I was Alf and I think Cheesethief. And the third year was the wonderful Tramun Clogg. So I don't decide to audition. I'm available, my agents recommend me, and then the producers go from there. Okay, were you familiar with the Redwall books? I did not read any of them. I knew who Brian Jacques was, and I was sort of semi-familiar with Redwall, but not to the extent that I was after I worked on the series. So it was a learning experience for me. Do I have any memorable moments from recording? I heard you had quite a rapport with Chris Wiggins. Let me deal with Chris Wiggins. Chris was a wonderful, wonderful guy. We worked together on numerous occasions. As a matter of fact, if you know my history, you'll know I was Beastly from Care Bears, and Chris was No Heart. That was I believe, our earliest major production together. Got to know him well. We would see each other at auditions all the time. And though we weren't kind of bosom buddies, we were friends. He was a nice, nice man. I like nice people. And I guess he thought the same thing about me, because we enjoyed seeing bumping into each other at various auditions. Memorable, I'm going to get to that, the memorable moment, because yes, there was one extremely memorable moment. I'll get to it at the end and tie it in with the Clogg talk. Okay. What was the time period it took to record an entire season? How frequently were the scripts released? Well, I believe each one took a year to do. Normally, you go in every 2 weeks. That gives the production crew 2 weeks to review the script, do a little bit of the animating work, find out whether the performances from the week before were solid or not. And if they have to redo any, it's great to do them 2 weeks later. You pick them up. From a money standpoint, you get all of those retakes or those rereads for free. It's part of the session. So that's what producers would, and the production company would want to do. So when we went in second week, we picked up the previous script and did the new script. How long would recording sessions last? Well, that depends. Recording sessions can be virtually any length. You may not know, but performers most of the time are recorded one at a time. And that's, again, for money reasons. So if I would do, in this particular case, Abbot Mordalfus, I might have been in for 20 minutes, half hour. That might have been it. When I went in to do Tramun Clogg, they were long. They were much longer sessions. So it is a variable. In season 3, I portrayed Clogg, a main villain. Did you enjoy that role? My friend, I loved it. One of my all-time favorites. It goes along with probably Beastly and Toad and a Newton gimmick from Teddy Ruxpin. Those would be my 4 tops. He was, I'll tell you now, and I'll bring you back to your other question. When I created the voice, and I worked with the voice director, Ray Jaffelis, great guy, we worked together. It was one of those ones, you showed me a picture and said, what do you got for this? And we worked and worked and worked, and we worked together, and I did all kinds of stuff. And finally, that weird voice, like no other animated voice or cartoon voice ever, I think, came out. But could I remember it for the next session? No. So what we do in the studio, and I know this because, as you may know, I'm a voice director as well. We keep a reference, which is a line, 2 lines, 30 seconds to a minute of dialogue by the character. So that when you come in and say, play me my ref, the engineer plays it and you go, oh yeah, okay, all right, I got it. Let me do a couple of things. You read a couple of lines, okay. The voice director says, no, a little of this, a little of that. And suddenly you're locked in, and then it's, let's get into the script. So that's one of the few times I've needed a reference. Otherwise, I pretty much remember how my characters speak. Do I have any advice for anyone who wants to get into the voice acting game? Yes, I do. Yes and no. First of all, you have to want to do it. I mean, you have to want to do it with a real passion, because there are so many people out there now. As opposed to when I started, it was a small group, almost like a clique of people, and we did pretty much everything that came on the table. We were at least in for auditions for all of those. But today, if you don't have the passion, somebody behind you who is more passionate is going to leapfrog you. The competition is unbelievably steep. There are hundreds and hundreds of voiceover people out there now, both for commercial and animation. And in our digital world, they come from all over the world. So it's though very often the production company is limited to local talent or country talent. I'm a Canadian talent first. If you can't get what you want in Canadian talent, you go to the U.S., maybe you go to Britain, whatever. But for tax purposes, you use the people from the country in which the production is being recorded. But you also have to, I would say, work at it. I, as a voice teacher, assign homework. I can't tell you how many people say they want to be voice actors and don't do the homework. I've said to them, look, you're going to save money. Here, just do this on your own. Come back to me. We'll work on what you've found. And they'll come back somewhat empty-handed. Well, did you do this? Did you do that? No, I didn't have time. You have to make time. There are serious people out there, again, who will climb right over you unless you're as dedicated as they are, unless you're more dedicated than they are. You want it, you've got to go and get it. Get yourself a really good teacher. Find someone with whom you really associate well. Pay the money. They're not cheap. I mean, you can get a voice teacher for $30 an hour. But I'll tell you, you get what you pay for. When you get a name person or someone who you look at their history, look at the recommendations on their website, say, that's who you want to go with. And pay the money. So the other thing you have to do is either have a really good job before you get in full time, or, you have to be independently wealthy. Some people are, or you work for your Uncle Sid, and you say, "Hey, Uncle Sid, I got a lesson. I got a gig. Yeah, sure. Go on, say hi to your mother for me." That's the other. That's the other thing. I know that sounds silly, but you have to pay attention to your work, because you need the money to put a roof over your head and to eat and to pay for anything that comes along. At some point, if you want to put in a studio, you got to buy your microphone. You got to have a properly insulated and soundproofed studio. It all costs money. So, and you can't do anything on the cheap, because if you appear cheap, if your microphone's bad, even though you're not recording from home, you'd be probably going into a studio. The sound of that comes out from you in that little booth should sound pretty good. Shakespeare said, "The apparel oft proclaims the man." So the machinery that you work with, the instruments that you work with, will say a lot about you. Maybe they shouldn't. I don't really believe they should, but that's human nature. All right, my friend. I hope I've answered your questions.